Guys, it's Cherise from Sher from 2000. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I am continuing my reading for spring break through the Walt Disney Storyland collection book. And the reason why I am dressed as a sorcerer is because today I will be reading The Sorcerer's Apprentice from the motion picture Fantasia. This is actually one of my favorite scenes from Fantasia. It's so iconic. It's so grand and so majestic. I may not have a sorcerer's hat, but I decided to dress for the part, so let's start this magical tale of caution. The Sorcerer's Apprentice, from the motion picture Fantasia. There was once a great sorcerer who knew more about magic than anyone else in the whole world. He lived in an underground cavern alone, but for one little apprentice, who was Mickey Mouse. There was a lot of work to be done in that underground cavern, and Mickey did it all. He did the meal cooking, and the floor sweeping, and the bed making, and the errand running, and the water hauling, and the wood chopping for the sorcerer. Wow, that's a lot of hard work. He got very tired of it too. I would. For it did seem with all that magic under the sorcerer's tall hat, he should be able to find easier ways of doing the housework.
If I had the magic hat, I'd never work again,
Mickey thought enviously as he watched the sorcerer weaving magic spells one day. Mickey, at the time, was busy filling up the big tub in the middle of the cavern with buckets full of water from the well outside. As soon as he rested for a moment to watch the magic, he felt the sorcerer's stern gaze upon him, and he hurried off to fill the buckets. But when he came back again, Mickey found the cavern empty. The sorcerer had gone off to visit a neighboring magician, and he left his magic hat behind. This was the moment Mickey had been waiting for. Very cautiously, he tiptoed over to the table, picked up the magic hat, and set it on his own head. It fitted perfectly. Being a magic hat, of course, it would fit anyone who wore it, but Mickey did not know that.
Oh, gee,
he thought happily.
I guess I probably was born to be a magician.
Now to test the hat's powers. As Mickey glanced around the gloomy cavern, he spied the old broom leaning against the wall.
Oh, that'll do,
he thought. Looking as stern and masterful as he could, he pointed his fingers at the broom. The broom quivered. Then, while Mickey's eyes grew bigger and rounder with pleased surprise, it jumped away from the wall and began to waddle across the room toward him.
Oh, I'm a sorcerer,
Mickey thought proudly.
With this magic hat, I can do anything my master can. No more housework for me. I'll let the broom do my water carrying. Broom,
he ordered in his sternest tones.
Fill this tub for me.
The broom bobbed forward in a little nod. Then Mickey watched, wide-eyed, as it waddled out of the cavern, up the stone steps to the well, and was soon back with 2 buckets full of water. Into the tub went the water, and away waddled the broom for more. This was wonderful. Mickey capered around the room in a gleeful dance to celebrate his freedom from toil. Then he sank into the sorcerer's armchair and leaned back to dream of all the marvelous things he would do now that he could make magic. He smiled with satisfaction at the steady swish of the broom going about its work. Then his head nodded, and Mickey dropped to sleep. In his dream, Mickey was standing on a great high cliff overlooking the whole world. Around him, the stars and planets wheeled and danced at his every nod and gesture. Far below, the ocean roared, and when he beckoned the waves to rose up and bow before him. Higher and higher dashed the waves until one broke at his very feet, and Mickey awoke from a start. I actually love this part in Fantasia. It's so magical and it's so grand. I should totally rewatch it another time. Water was lapping at his toes. The sorcerer's chair in which he sat was bouncing on a little sea. The whole cavern was flooded. While Mickey slept, the broom had work on, filling the tub to overflowing and finally flooding the whole great room. And here it came now, waddling down the steps to empty 2 more buckets on the floor.
Stop! Cried Mickey. Stop, broom! Stop, I say!
He waved his arms. He pointed trembling fingers. He tried every trick and gesture he had seen the sorcerer use as far as he could remember, but the broom was sturdily on about its work. Mickey tried to snatch away the buckets, but the broom would not have been stopped. Then he thought of an axe. With a mighty blow through the broom's wood he handled. Then chop, chop, chop. He hacked it into hundreds of bits.
Well, that's done,
Mickey said to himself with a great sigh as he sank down on the steps to rest for a moment.
Now to get rid of this water.
But what was this? Before Mickey's horrified eyes, each splinter of wood became a full-size broom, armed with 2 buckets of water. Now 100 brooms were hauling water into the cavern, which one had filled it to flooding.
No, no, go back,
he cried, holding out his arms to stop the marching brooms. But on they came, pushing Mickey into the water as they marched with troubled steadiness to the tub, dumped their buckets, then started back to the well. Poor Mickey. As he floundered in the swirling waters, the sorcerer's book of wisdom floated past, and he snatched it as his last hope. Pulling on it with a dry step, Mickey began paging through with the thick, water-soaked pages in a desperate search of words to make everything right again. He was so intent on his search that he did not even notice when a dark shadow fell over the cavern. The sorcerer had returned. One glance was enough to tell the magic master what had happened. He lifted his arms in a commanding gesture, and the water vanished. Mickey scarcely believed his eyes, but it was true. The floor of the cavern was dry, and the broom leaned lazily against the wall. The tubs of water stood waiting, still just half full, with the empty buckets beside it. Everything was just as it was when the sorcerer had left, but one small thing. The magic hat was still on Mickey's head. With a sheepish grin, Mickey handed the hat to the sorcerer. Then, without a word, he picked up the buckets and raced up to the stairs to the well.
At least,
Mickey told himself as he trudged back to the cavern a moment later with heavy buckets sloshing at his side.
At least this job I know how to stop when it's finished.
And that was The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I hope you guys enjoy that. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And stay tuned for more reading from this collection. I can't wait to read to you guys. Have a magical day. Bye.